The diner buzzed with late-night noise, that warm, familiar hum that usually settled over you like a blanket after a long day. Burgers crackled on the grill, coffee cups tapped against saucers, and the neon sign outside blinked in tired, uneven flashes. It should have felt safe, comforting, ordinary, but in the corner booth, something quietly brutal was unfolding. Emily sat by herself near the window, her wheelchair pulled close to the edge of the Formica table. She was only 17, yet life had already pushed her harder than most people twice her age. Born with cerebral palsy, she had learned early how to be patient with her own body, how to speak slowly, how to smile even when it cost her something. Every day took courage most people never had to find, and most nights the world simply looked past her. Tonight was different. Tonight the world wasn't looking away. It was staring. A group of young men crowded into a nearby booth, loud and reckless, feeding off each other's energy. They acted like they owned the place, like the diner was their stage. Their eyes kept drifting toward Emily. Their voices dropped just enough to feel intentional, just enough to hurt. Then came the laughter, sharp, careless, cruel. Look at her trying to use that fork. One of them snorted, another leaned back and smirked. Someone get her training wheels for that coffee cup. The laughter that followed wasn't harmless fun. It was sharp. It was deliberate. Every sound felt like a blade. Emily lowered her eyes to her plate, her hands shaking as she fought to keep control. Tears burned behind her eyes, begging to fall. But she refused to give them that satisfaction. She'd faced cruelty before, stairs without ramps, whispers in school hallways, strangers' pitying stares in grocery stores. But this was different. This was loud, public, unavoidable, and sitting there under the buzzing lights, surrounded by clinking dishes and careless laughter. The weight of it all became almost impossible to bear. Still, Emily stayed quiet. She always did. Silence had become her shield. Sarah, the waitress, a warm-eyed woman in her 40s who'd seen enough of life to recognize cruelty, when it showed its face, noticed what was happening. She shot the boys a warning glare before gently resting a hand on Emily's shoulder. "Don't you listen to them, sweetheart," she said softly. "You just enjoy your meal." But Emily couldn't. Her appetite had vanished. With every cruel joke, her strength chipped away, piece by piece, like something fragile cracking under pressure. What no one knew, not the diners, not the bullies, not even Emily herself, was that life had a strange habit of balancing the scales. And that night, fate was already on its way, carried by the roar of vengeance. The laughter from the booth grew louder. The boys leaned back, puffing out their chests, performing for the room as if cruelty was something to brag about. Parents leaned close to their children and whispered for them not to stare. A few truckers shifted uneasily in their seats, eyes down, hands wrapped tighter around their mugs. Still, no one stood up. Then the sound came. At first, it was distant, low and rolling, like thunder crawling across the horizon. A deep growl that slowly grew louder, closer, heavier. The kind of sound you didn't just hear, but felt. The windows began to tremble. Forks paused mid-air. Conversations died out. Even the bullies fell silent, glancing around with uncertain smirks. The noise surged, and then they arrived. One by one, motorcycles rolled into the gravel lot outside, chrome flashing under the flickering neon sign. Black leather jackets caught the pale glow of the moon. Engines thundered like war drums, vibrating through the diner floor and into every chest inside. The doors swung open as the riders dismounted together, dozens of them, broad-shouldered, bearded. Commanding without saying a word, the Hell's Angels had arrived. Tattoos curled up thick forearms, inked stories etched into weathered skin, and their presence alone felt heavy enough to quiet a storm. These weren't just men on motorcycles. They were road legends, men whose names traveled faster than their engines, feared and respected in equal measure. Inside the diner, silence slammed down hard. Every head turned as the door swung open. Heavy boots hit the tile, one slow step at a time. The lead rider scanned the room, his gaze sharp and steady, missing nothing, leaving nowhere to hide. The bullies tried to play it off. One forced a laugh, muttering, "Great. Looks like the circus rolled into town." His voice cracked halfway through. No one laughed with him, and the bikers didn't even look their way. Not yet, their leader, a massive man with a thick grey beard and eyes that seemed to cut straight through people, noticed Emily instantly. She was shrinking into herself, shoulders tight, hands trembling, eyes glossy as she stared at the table. She was trying to disappear, but her pain made her impossible to miss. He walked straight toward her. "Hey there, darling," he said gently, his deep voice unexpectedly soft. "Mind if we sit with you?" Emily looked up, startled, her breath catching. After a moment, she nodded, unsure but polite. The man pulled out the chair beside her, leather jacket creaking as he sat down like he was settling in at a family dinner. Around them, the others spread out, filling booths and stools, their sheer presence swallowing the room. Then the leader turned slowly and looked over his shoulder right at the bullies. "You boys got something funny you want to share with the class?" His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It rolled through the diner like distant thunder. The bullies stiffened, their smiles evaporating. "No, sir," one of them stammered. "Thought so," the man said calmly, folding his arms. "'Cause from where I was standing, it looked like you were getting a real kick out of mocking this young lady here." He gestured toward Emily without even glancing away from them. "Let me make something real clear," he continued. "You don't disrespect a lady. Not in front of me. Not ever." The diner stayed frozen in silence. Even the cook leaned out from the back, wiping his hands on his apron. Eyes locked on the scene unfolding. Emily's heart hammered in her chest. In that moment, something unfamiliar washed over her. For the first time in her life, someone was standing up for her, not a teacher stepping in out of duty, not her parents driven by love or pity, but a stranger doing it out of pure respect, out of unbreakable principle. The leader slowly rose to his full height, his shadow stretching across the floor as he towered over the boys. "Now you've got two choices," he said evenly. "You can apologize like men, or you can find out what happens when you keep acting like children in front of angels." The bullies swallowed hard. Their confidence collapsed in an instant. Shoulders slumped, eyes dropped. One by one, they muttered apologies, voices shaking, words tripping over each other. Not a single one of them could bring himself to look Emily in the eye. But the angel wasn't finished. He turned back to Emily and crouched beside her, lowering himself so he was at her level. His voice softened, meant only for her ears. "Don't let Em take your shine, sweetheart," he said gently. "You hold your head high. You're stronger than they'll ever be." Tears slid down Emily's cheeks, not from pain this time, but from something she hadn't felt in a long while. Gratitude, relief, hope. The angel stayed. They ordered burgers and coffee, joked with the waitress, filled the diner with easy laughter. They treated Emily like she belonged, like family. And for the first time in a long time, she truly felt that she did. The cruel voices that had cut her moments earlier were gone, replaced by the low, steady sound of brotherhood, respect, and unexpected kindness. When the angels finally left, their engines roared into the night, fading into the distance. But they didn't leave emptiness behind. They left a lesson carved into every heart in that diner. Strength isn't cruelty. Real strength is standing up for the vulnerable, protecting those who can't always protect themselves. Emily never forgot that night, and neither did the boys who learned what real power looks like.